is your view? Why is the China-Central Asia Summit so important?
Well, I think we have to look at this in geostrategic context. Earlier this month, I think we saw the fourth Indian Central Asian summit taking place. We know that the U.S. has the C5+1 that is currently, that Trump remains committed to, even though it's an Obama-era diplomatic platform. But that's being complicated now by Trump's trade aggressions and indeed his tariffs being advanced against Kazakhstan. But, you know, China has long had this very, very positive relationship with Kazakhstan, particularly. Kazakhstan was the place where the BRI was first announced more than a dozen years ago. And of course, Kazakhstan is one of the major countries in Central Asia and at the forefront of this broad effort for China to engage Central Asia through Belt Road, but through other initiatives. And to put this in another context, you know, there were a couple of other developments this year. One of them in May of this year, it was shown that Kazakhstan is believed to have proven rare earth reserves, putting it third in the world behind China and Brazil. And this, of course, increases the global strategic interest in Kazakhstan, with Trump, of course, struggling to find access to rare earths, giving Chinese export controls, and India now pressing to come into Kazakhstan to help develop that industry. So Kazakhstan is a place of intensifying strategic interest, and of course, a linchpin of BRI, and certainly the Central Asia region as a whole.
We know that Russia remains a major economic force in the region, but China has overtaken it as the largest trading partner of Central Asian republics over the past 3 years. What's behind China's growing influence in the region? Much of what you just talked about, or is there more to it?
Well, you know, I think we would have to go back to the fact that Central Asia, Kazakhstan especially, these have always been targets of major powers around the world. There was long a security paradigm that said that if you wanted to control Asia, you needed to control Central Asia. This included Afghanistan, but also Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, all these areas. And of course, this is one of the strategic objectives of the U.S. push into Central Asia under the auspices of the war on terror, as it built those air bases in Central Asia, never in Kazakhstan, but in the region, to prosecute that war in Afghanistan, but also to try to exert that pressure. And of course, this is when Russia and China began to accelerate the development of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, to provide incentives and opportunities that would encourage countries like Kazakhstan to take a more balanced approach. And indeed, what we see Kazakhstan doing is taking what they call a multi-vector approach in foreign policy, where they try to balance competing interests for the greater good of Kazakhstan, whether it's with Russia, where they have military agreements, India, which recently started direct flights from Astana to Delhi and offered $1 billion loan. China, which is, as your lead-in noted, has played this very powerful role in helping infrastructure development as well as trade. So all of these things are taking place, and China is playing a leading role there, and certainly I think providing this principles-based foreign policy that, as Tokiev mentioned, does not impose conditions. This is precisely the sort of foreign policy that I think complements a multi-vector approach, and it's one of the reasons he mentioned that China has never harmed the Kazakh people, that China is promoting a multipolar world, and that Kazakhstan supports those efforts.
All right, we'll leave it there. Josef Gregory Mahoney, thank you very much for your time.